Yeah, your TV's on. It's your boy Denzel back with Denzel Sports Takes. And if you love sports like I do, let's tap in. Today we're going to talk about the NFL draft as a whole, as far as my least likely to succeed as far as their picks, and also the great picks that they have succeeded with good teams, good picks. Now, honestly, I'm going to dive right into it. I'm gonna start as far as the low. Now, a team that had a head scratcher, on my bald head, I had a scratch. The Jacksonville Jaguars, y'all. What were they doing? I'm at a loss what they were doing. I thought they should have got corner. They should have got a corner. They could have added to the receiver room, especially now that they're saying that they want Travis Hunter to play corner and he's gonna have packages at the right receiver. I know they got Brian Thomas, but they needed somebody beside him as well. I didn't really understand what they were doing. They kind of went all over the place on certain day picks. And they lost a lot. And I thought they should have kept Travis Etienne. They let him go to the Saints. And I don't know, man. I really was at a loss of what they were kind of doing with their picks. I can't really even break it down to have a conclusion of what they were doing. They didn't have a first round pick, so they only started their draft from the second round and moving on. So they kind of moved from that direction of it. And especially after paying Trevor Lawrence all that money that they paid him. So now it's just like trying to become better to get deeper into the playoffs. Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to win, but it's just how you come about it on leading your roster to win. And as an organization standpoint, I was at a loss of what they were doing. Another team that I was lost on, but it questioned a lot of people into this, was the Los Angeles Rams. They did not have a good draft, y'all. And the whole thing about that is it started from was the first round. With that first pick with Ty Simpson, quarterback Alabama, I thought they were going to pick quarterback at some point. Didn't think it was first round. Now, I know it's a lot of questions because with that pick, it's like, okay, he can't play right now. He's going to be sitting behind Matthew Stafford, and they need to plan for the future. I think that was a correct decision. But you look at it, it didn't look like everybody was on board with that decision. It seemed like the GM and Sean McVay was not on the same page, because you look at the press conference with Sean McVay, he's looking all over the place. He looks frustrated or lost. He don't seem excited about that pick. And to me, everybody thought that they were going to go my boy Mekhi Lemon at that pick. Devontae Adams is on a one-year deal left. You're going to go ahead and plan for the future receiver there. You could put Mekhi Lemon in the slot, until, after Devontae Adams. And Mekhi Lemon going to the Eagles, and I'm talking about that a little bit too. I think they didn't really have a set plan. Now, I think the Rams didn't need a whole lot. They just need to fill a couple gaps. I did believe they needed to go corner, which, they already had got corner. They got the corner out of Kansas City. They did trade it for. It was, I didn't really feel that they really had a key on what they wanted to do in the draft. Those are my two teams that I had questions on, I would say. I think a lot of people can kind of say the same thing. It's like, okay, what were you doing in the draft, so to speak? A team that I feel like that had a really, really, really good draft. Man, listen, this team did everything they had to do, was the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns have been having two good drafts. They have made key pieces on defense and key pieces on offense. They first pick was Spencer Fano out of the first round. They got offensive tackle out of Utah. I think that was really excellent just to shore up that offensive line. Remember, if people don't forget, they revamped the entire offensive line. They scrapped the whole thing, let all of them go to free agency, and they restarted from scratch. And I think this was important. They got some offseason acquisitions on the offensive line at guard as well. They got Casey Concepcion, receiver out of Texas A&M, and then they also double dipped and got Denzel Boston. Yeah, as Denzel would be great, but they got Denzel Boston out of Washington. That was really another good pickup as well. I think they got 2 receivers that can really be excellent for Shador. Yes, I said Shador because, in my humble opinion, we don't know what we're going to get out of Deshaun Watson. Now, I know it's been, talks that in camp he's actually been doing well. I just don't see it here. I don't see it in the eyes. I don't see it in the eyes. And I got to be proven wrong this preseason going to the regular season. I am predicting what's going to happen. Deshaun Watson's going to start because of the money they paid him. He's in the last year of that contract. They're going to start him. But as soon as week 4, week 5 come around and he's struggling, Shador Sanders is going to get the opportunity. But they lost me drafting the quarterback out of Arkansas because he's a project player. You already have too many quarterbacks on the roster already. It just didn't make sense to me. Why would you draft another quarterback? It just didn't. So, but other than that, I thought all the other picks was excellent that they made. Moving on to another team that I thought had a really good draft. They just added to the fire. Like, they really added to the fire, y'all. And man, I'm just looking at these picks, y'all. Like, looking over these picks. I think the team that a lot of people are like, okay, this is the team that needs to really get over that hump. Baltimore Ravens. And I know for years we've been saying they have a good draft. No, really. They got the players they needed because that guard position was terrible. That guard position was terrible. They needed somebody to protect Lamar. And they needed it badly. They go get the guard in the first round, Vega Ion. They get him. I think that was a solid fit. Following round, they get Zion Young out of Missouri, a defensive end, edge rusher. That's another position they needed badly, edge rusher, because he needed to get out the quarterback. In another position, my boy Jacoby Lane. Jacoby Lane. That boy is a catch radius out of this world. Doesn't really get talked about as a good route runner. He's a really good route runner, and I'm not being biased. No, he really is good. As a number 2 receiver next to Makai Lemon, he balled out. I think this is going to be a guy that replaces Rashad Bateman. I think they're in question if they're going to keep Rashad Bateman, and I think this is going to be solid with him and Zay Flowers. They really had a good draft, y'all. Something that they just keep getting better and better. And we know Patrick Mahomes is going to be out for a couple weeks. But the Kansas City Chiefs actually had a good draft. They go get Mesidor Delane, which I was kind of confused why they traded up for him because I feel like he was going to be there regardless. To me, he wasn't the best corner off the board. I think Avion Terrell was, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But I feel as though he's going to be a solid corner. He was the position they needed. They get Spencer Fano. They get him, an offensive tackle. And if you ask me, I think the Chiefs had a really good draft. I think they picked the guys that they needed for the positions worth. I think, they didn't get Spencer Fano. Sorry about that. They did get an offensive tackle. But the Chiefs, to me, the Chiefs in every draft, they draft on positions that they best player available, but they also draft on need that can fill the holes that they need. And I think they're another example outside of just the Eagles that can really draft well. They pick the guys they need, fill those holes, fill those voids, and can get them back on the surface that they need to be at. The Chiefs are going to be back. I think they're going to make that step forward. Travis Kelce coming back from one last year, most likely. They're making every right move that they need to. The team that I talked about a little bit that I thought had a really good draft is the Philadelphia Eagles. They go get Makai Lemon that dropped down to them. They're another team that got the positions they needed. I think this is probably the best pick that they got out of the draft for them is Makai Lemon. I think the conversation has already been solidified. June 1st, they're going to make the trade as far as A.J. Brown. They're going to trade him as far as to the Patriots. Now, the reason why it's June 1st is because of the cap hit. Now, it's going to hit 43 million to the cap. So pretty much they did not want to have that cap hit them. I know everybody's like, because even I sometimes a person like, man, cap is BS. Like, that's not really real. It is to a certain extent. I don't know, we talking about these organizations got $1 billion of money, but because of the cap space, I mean, cap keeps increasing each year. I think it's around like 26 mil, if I'm not correct. Somebody correct me in the comments. I think it's around 26 mil right now. It might be more than that right now. But it increases every year because of merchandise sales, TV deals, and things of such. So it increases every year. So some teams just go over that cap. I mean, you would hope not, like the Saints. I don't know how the heck they got money all the time, but they do. I don't know how. But, you know, they don't want to go over cap. So I think that was a pick to kind of solidify, okay, you out of here. This is A.J. Brown. Go get your opportunity to get your numbers somewhere else. And we're going to fit McCollum in here, and we're going to have Devontae Adams on the other side. Outside of that, if I'm looking at it, if I said the division that I felt that had the best draft, and I'm not being biased, y'all, but no, seriously, was the NFC South. The NFC South did not miss at all on these picks. Just looking at it, I was surprised Jordan Tyson went to the Saints, but that's actually a good pick. And then Ruben Bain went to the Bucks. Man, like, it's crazy because I had projected Ruben Bain going to Washington. Now, Washington went to go get Sonny Styles. And when I look at it, Ruben Bain going to be a player to watch because he was not full of BS. He didn't even do the whole mirror. He grabbed the hat, put it on, walked straight to the podium. He wasn't about all that rah-rah. He was, I'm ready to get to work, like, for real, because they already talking about my short arms. We already know about the story that happened about, you know, as far as the car accident that happened a couple years ago. So it's just like, I felt like he has something to prove. And we seen that in his gameplay in Miami. He's nothing to play with. He's something to watch. I really want to see how a lot of these picks kind of develop going in this offseason, going into the preseason. Atlanta Falcons I want to finish on that as well. Atlanta Falcons was dope. That was really dope. They got Evian Terrell, who's going to play with his brother. Man, listen, I don't think we've ever seen a cornerback-to-cornerback tandem. Now, I know there's questions if they're going to put him in a slot, but that was dope. Now, even though I don't like them dirty birds, and he's still going to get clapped. Hey, listen, T-Mac and Jalen Cochran going to give you the business. And Brazil. But still, like, that was dope to see as far as seeing that two brothers going to be playing on the same team. They're actually from Atlanta as well, from Georgia. So that's dope to see, honestly. But as a whole, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Like I said, I want to see a lot of these things develop. What I will say, though, is what we're starting to see is, as far as when it comes down to scouting, and one of the things that I think Panthers did an excellent job is, I'm going to talk about my team a little bit, is that the Panthers actually had an opportunity for a player like that, the scout team interviews, which was dope. But scouting as a whole, I think some teams, based on how their boards were going, because there was a lot of teams that were reaching. Like, a lot of teams were reaching for certain players. Like, the 49ers didn't have a good draft either. That's another team I should have talked about, but I'm going to include. The 49ers, they passed on this Boston, which a lot of people had them projected to go in the second round to start off the draft. And I was confused on their pick because that's a team that I felt like reached. I mean, they got DeJon Stribing out of Ole Miss, which he was a decent receiver, but I didn't think he was better than this in Boston. But a lot of these teams reached for players, and a lot of these players would have dropped to the third or fourth round, would have been able to get. And there were some teams that actually let the board fall as it fell and picked the right pick that it as win as. But That's what I think is the important thing about the NFL draft, because it accounts for your scout team and scheme fits. And so a lot of teams sometimes draft the best available player, but sometimes it may not fit in their scheme. But going into this off season, you're going to see how chemistry develops, how these guys start to feel the difference between college and the pros. They're going to have their hey rookie moment when they come to week 1 into the NFL. But it's always exciting to see. The thing about the draft is, okay, who are going to be these guys that 5-10 years from now are going to be like superstar players? And we were like, hey, 5th, 6th round pick here, he was still in the draft, or this 1st round pick here, he wasn't no bust. He solidified his position or whatever position he played in, and he went beyond what he was already projected as. So those are the things that are very exciting to me when it comes to football as a whole, and especially the NFL draft. And seeing these guys' stories develop, just seeing who they are outside of just the football helmet, when they take that football helmet, and seeing them as people, because people do lose track. They're not just football players. They're also people as well. They have other hobbies than just playing football. I know we as fans always see them as the person that has the helmet and chin strap on and has the pads on and knocking somebody's head off or making a great play, whether it's on offense or defense. But these guys do have other passions. They have other lives. They have family. They have kids. They have significant other. So it's important to also know that there are people outside of football. But when it becomes between the lines, we do want to see why they have that energy, or what makes them tick, what makes them love the game of football. And I think it's always excellent to see those stories. In my opinion, I think it is important to know these guys' stories, to know where they came from, to understand what pushed them in this direction, to love the sport that they do. And I think when you see all those things tied together, it makes sense to why they play the way they play and why they ball out the way they ball out. So I want people to keep that in mind as well when it comes to sports in general, but specifically the sport that I'm talking about, football. So I look forward to this off season. I'm going to talk about in my other video about what I think about the Carolina Panthers season coming amongst itself, or coming to time. But let me know in the comments what y'all thoughts. What was some losses? What was some wins as far as some draft picks? Like I said, like and subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get this channel to 100 subscribers. Trying to grow the channel. I'm just a person that just loves sports, talking in deep analysis on certain things, just beyond the X and O's, also the front office and things that I see. I'm going to have some other things that I'm going to tap into that I'm excited to kind of bring to the channel. But like I said, let me know what y'all thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe. It's your boy Denzel with Denzel Sports Takes. You love sports like I do. Let's tap in. I'm out.